The face of evil is rarely what we expect. It hides behind ordinary lives, blending seamlessly into the crowd. Andrei Chikatilo was one such man, a mild-mannered factory worker and family man on the surface. But beneath that facade lay the mind of a monster. Known as the Butcher of Rostov, his crimes would shock a nation and expose the darkest corners of human depravity. Andrei Romanovich Chikatilo was born in 1936 in the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, a region gripped by famine and hardship. His childhood was marked by poverty, hunger, and fear. Stories from his early life paint a bleak picture. His parents told him that his older brother had been kidnapped and cannibalized by starving neighbors, a grim tale that haunted his psyche. At school, Chikatilo was bullied relentlessly for his shy demeanor and frail appearance, leaving him isolated and deeply scarred. As he grew older, Chikatilo's life seemed to stabilize. He married, had 2 children, and worked as a teacher before transitioning to a career in factory work. To those around him, he was unremarkable, a quiet, hard-working man. But underneath his calm exterior, a storm was brewing. His frustrations, coupled with a deep sense of inadequacy, would soon manifest in ways no one could have foreseen. In 1978, Chikatilo claimed his first victim, a 9-year-old girl named Yelena Zakotnova. He lured her into an abandoned house, promising her toys, before attacking and brutally murdering her. Her body was found in a river, and though Chikatilo was questioned, another man was falsely convicted and executed for the crime. This failure of justice allowed Chikatilo to continue his killing spree unchecked. Over the next 12 years, Andrei Chikatilo unleashed a wave of terror across the Rostov region. His victims ranged from young children to women, often lured into secluded areas with promises of food, money, or companionship. Once isolated, Chikatilo would attack with a frenzied brutality, stabbing, mutilating, and sometimes cannibalizing his victims. His crimes were driven by a twisted combination of sexual frustration and a need for dominance, leaving behind scenes of unimaginable horror. Despite the brutality of his murders, Chikatilo managed to evade capture for years, in part due to police incompetence and a reluctance to acknowledge the possibility of a serial killer operating in Soviet society. Investigators pursued hundreds of false leads, arresting and even executing innocent men in their desperate attempt to solve the case. It wasn't until the late 1980s that a new team of investigators, led by Detective Viktor Burakov, began to piece together the truth. Using psychological profiling, a groundbreaking method at the time, they identified Chikatilo as a likely suspect. His odd behavior, combined with forensic evidence linking him to several crime scenes, led to his arrest in 1990. Under intense interrogation, Chikatilo confessed to 56 murders, though he was only convicted of 52. His trial was a spectacle, with the killer often ranting incoherently, claiming insanity, and displaying bizarre behavior. Yet the evidence was overwhelming. In 1994, Andrei Chikatilo was executed by a single gunshot to the head, bringing an end to one of the most horrific chapters in Russian criminal history. The story of the Butcher of Rostov serves as a grim reminder of the capacity for evil within humanity. Chikatilo's crimes exposed deep flaws in the Soviet justice system and shattered the illusion that such atrocities couldn't happen in a tightly controlled society. But perhaps most haunting is the question his case leaves behind. What drives a person to commit such unspeakable acts, and how many more like him walk among us, their darkness hidden in plain sight?